Greetings, fellas. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Big Fella, and this week I'm talking about a film that I saw that absolutely broke me. And if the thumbnail didn't give it away, I am, of course, talking about Attack on Titan The Last Attack. The ending that I have been waiting for this series, if it literally feels like years. And it was years in the making. Like, Attack on Titan came out over a decade ago. And in that time, I've graduated high school, gone through the pandemic, entered college, and here in my last few months of going to college, I got to experience this ending. And I have to say, props to the studio, props to the voice actors, everyone that was involved in this. You guys, it was the pied de resistance. Or I could be saying that wrong, but I don't care. I will say, the ending was nothing like what I was expecting. I mean, when I first started Attack on Titan, I'm like, okay, so this is basically about a kid who's trying to destroy all the Titans of the world. And props to him because they basically made a Happy Meal out of his mom. But as the story developed, there were twists and turns. Friends became enemies, enemies became friends. Secrets were revealed that literally fractured the foundations of what a lot of these characters knew, and I found that absolutely incredible. And seeing Eren Yeager, the main character, go from someone who wanted to exterminate the Titans to eventually learning the truth about the Titans, his connection to it all, and how he basically wanted to destroy the rest of the world because they had basically labeled him and his fellow, I think, Marlians, I believe. I get confused with the terminology, but I know that he and everybody else lived on the island of Paradis, and they were basically like the black sheep of the world. Everybody hated them. They called them the Island Devils. They were basically ridiculed. And the effect of that xenophobia, of that hatred, leads to Eren basically committing worldwide genocide by unleashing an army of colossal titans that march on the world. They're literally just walking. They're just walking. They're not doing anything else, and they literally flatten everything in their path. If you guys have seen any of the clips online, you will see that these things they're innumerable. They're literally like so many of them, and like the rumbling is so wide it goes on for you don't even know how far. But you literally see the destruction they leave in their wake. Nothing is spared. Buildings, infrastructure, men, women, children. We literally see within the first 10, 20 minutes of the movie, we see a side character that Eren and co had met proceed to get turned into a pavement pizza by a colossal titan in the rumbling. And to see a movie with that kind of feeling of hopelessness, it really like messes with you, because if you are like me and you like movies that do tend to have like feelings of optimism, of moments where it looks like the heroes like they're struggling but they come out on top. There were a lot of moments in this movie, in this entire franchise, where it felt like that was so out of reach. And this movie was no different, because like I said, if you see a movie that has a death of a child, it really hits you emotionally, because I have family members who have kids that are younger, that literally are younger, if not the same age as a lot of the teenagers or younger characters that died in this movie, and I was able to empathize with that a lot. But overall, seeing the characters Armin, Mikasa, Jean, Connie, Annie, Reiner, all of them trying to find hope, trying to end what Eren is doing, and the sheer hopelessness of it, like all the obstacles that keep getting thrown in their way, it's just like, wow, they are literally fighting an uphill battle, and it feels like it just keeps getting steeper and steeper. And no matter like if you take one step, like you are literally that close to taking like two or five steps back. But I will say that getting to see these characters interact, push through the hopelessness, not knowing if they were going to win, I really admire that. I'm trying to emulate that in my own life, because there are a lot of things that I'm struggling with. I won't get into that, but A lot of times I feel like my pursuits, whether they be creative, whether it comes to this channel, this podcast, um, writing my first book, it feels like I'm always on a. It feels like I'm always, as Blade would put it, some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. That's how I feel sometimes. But if a character literally facing the end of the world is still willing to push forward, I can do the same. Obviously, the world isn't ending. The sun is still gonna rise tomorrow. You're still gonna live to see your kids, your grandkids grow up. That definitely shows that perseverance is the name of the game. It is hard. It's hard to have it. Believe me. Believe me, I know, because there have been times when I've been working on this channel on my thumbnails, which I'm still trying to work on or do the editing. It's hard to do. But I will say this. Keep pushing. Keep pushing because like I said, the characters are facing insurmountable odds. The people that they had once called their friends have turned against them and are literally trying to stop them from committing the rumbling because they believe in Aaron's ideology. And I'm just like, okay, this is basically the fact that like a lot of these nations like are what's the word I'm looking for? Modeled. Modeled after a lot of instances in our history. Like I'm pretty sure that a lot of like parody is modeled after certain aspects of German culture. So seeing Aaron become this genocidal maniac, it's very reminiscent of how Nazism like went like became the pinnacle of Germany in the 20th century. And the fact that people still root for him at the end of the movie, which I will get to in a moment, the fact that most of the population is believing in what he stood for and is willing to fight the rest of the world. And just like we basically just like went through a whole like loop de loop. It literally just went right back to where they started, except at this point 80% of the world is now dead, and the other 20%, those that are still alive, including the people of Paradis, they're basically like in shambles, and they're gonna look for someone to blame. And if the ending of this movie is any indication, then it looks like it was headed in that direction. And it even showed in that direction that it was gonna happen. But the one thing that really hit me was Mikasa realizing that she would have to do the unthinkable and kill Eren. And even the rest of the cast. Because in this show, it's not like one of those anime where, oh, the main character gets along with everybody, everyone's like really good friends. A lot of these characters, they hated each other's guts because they were thrown into a situation they had no place being in. And but Mikasa literally like if I still don't see there were some people who like I talked to like they seem like really good friends and I'm like my brother in Christ, can you not see that she has the hots for him? She wants to marry him. She wants to have kids with him. She wants to grow old with him. The fact that some people still don't see that, the it seems like the brain cells just go down and down every second for a lot of these people. But Mikasa, literally, her and Armin, they were the only two constants in Eren's life throughout this whole show. And realizing that they would have to kill their friend to save the world, seeing how that was affecting them, that really hit me. And let me offer you guys a hypothetical. If you had a friend who you'd known for years, you cared for them, you've been with them through thick and thin, through laughter, through tears, through everything in between, and you love this person more than anything. Now imagine if they were going to do something horrible. Like, say, if they were going to try to hurt somebody, if they were going to basically do anything that would have like long lasting consequences, and the potential for ruining other people's lives would be exponential. And you had the opportunity to stop them. Even if you did have to kill this person, would you do it? Is losing one friend worth the rest of the world? And that is something that I think Mikasa really struggled with because, as I said, she literally loves him not only because like they basically know each other since childhood, but the fact that he gave her that red scarf that was like her trademark for the entirety of the series, it was very, very heartbreaking. And the saddest part is that I mean, it does sort of end on a bit of a hopeful note, seeing all these characters, like many of them survive, return to their hometown to like talk about peace talks between Paradis and the other nations of the world. It did end on a hopeful note, but as the credits roll, we see the island of Paradis like literally grow from a modern day metropolis to a futuristic what's the word I'm looking for? A futuristic city. I'll just put it like that. I was almost gonna say, oh, utopia. God, why am I having such trouble with that today? But yeah, but in the end, you also see helicopters, you see stealth bombers flying overhead, and they bomb the city into oblivion. And then a kid is walking with his dog, like he looks like a scavenger, like you'd see in a post-apocalyptic movie or whatever. He sees the entrance to a tree, the very tree where they had the origin of the Titans, and he and the dog go right on in. So I'm like, oh, great, great. So essentially, everything that Eren, Armin, Mikasa, everybody in the show died for was basically for nothing, and the whole process is going to repeat again. And I'm like, oh joy. Good luck to the next generation of characters in that show. But considering that this is where it ends, we don't know what'll happen from that point. But the one thing I did like about this that I thought was a really enjoyable ending, we see a modern day alternate universe with Eren, Armin, and Mikasa in the theater. We see they were watching it. Eren looks like your typical schoolboy. Armin looks like a nerd with glasses, and Mikasa, somehow they made her even better by turning her into a goth, and I just love that decision. I don't remember the name of the mangaka, but dude, you like somehow made like the perfect girl even better. Thank you for that. But then they're talking about the movie afterwards, talking about it, and even Armin is complaining like there's so many things that are left unanswered. But Mikasa is like, but that's okay. Maybe something should be left unanswered. And Eren is just like, I'm fine with it because I got to enjoy it with you guys. And I was like, now obviously like it was like played for humor, but like to get that little bit of humor at the very end after seeing all the bleakness happen, I thought that was a nice touch. And again, I think I've met a few of the Attack on Titan voice actors. I have met Eren Yeager's voice actor, Bryce Papenbrook. Super chill dude, by the way, one of the nicest VAs I've ever met. I haven't met Jesse James Grayley, who voices Armin, but she does a great job in that. I haven't met Mikasa, Trina Nishimura, although I really want to. I've met Connie, Clifford Chapin, who's a great voice actor as well. And I think the other one I met is J. Michael Tatum, who voices Irvin Smith, who does have a bit of a cameo in this movie as a ghost, because after Hanji dies, literally goes out in a blaze of glory, she sees all her dead comrades and reunites with them in the afterlife. And we hear J. Michael Tatum for a little bit. But overall, I had a great time at this movie. And I think that this is a good way to end it. I mean, yes, it is very bittersweet, like very bordering on the downer ending territory, but that's sometimes that happens. Not everyone gets the happy ending, but it's still an ending nonetheless, and overall, I give it a big thumbs up. But what did you guys think of Attack on Titan: The Last Attack? Please let me know in the comments, and if you have any ideas for any other topics you want me to cover, or if you have any ideas for video games I could play for Big Fella Plays, smash that like button, keep this going in the algorithm, and I will see you guys next time. What the?